Okay, I'm standing here with Marty Lyons. Now, Marty, today was the NFF Hall of Fame induction announcement, and you were inducted into the Hall of Fame last year. So how does it feel knowing that you're already in here and the people that you've played with and played against are starting to come in following you?
Well, I think, first of all, it's a great honor to be in the College Football Hall of Fame. Also to be recognized with so many great athletes that do both work on the field and off the field. It's a small fraternity, and I think anytime that you get inducted to a Hall of Fame, you have to sit and you have to reflect and you have to be thankful for, first for the God-given tools that He gave you to play the game of football, but also that supporting class. So it's a good time to reflect. For me last year going into the Hall of Fame, 33 years after I played my last college game, truly an honor for me and my family.
So when you were listening to this year's inductees, how does it make you feel knowing that, you know, people that you've also admired as well as played with are following you into this Hall of Fame?
Well, they're not just following me, they're following their tradition. I think the greatest honor is that I was signing a football last year at one of the dinners, and I signed it as I normally would. You know, Marty Lyons, 93 Jets, and the guy handed me back the ball. And he said, "You're not done." I said, "What do you mean I'm not done?" He goes, "You have to put those 5 initials now and put the date." So he gave me back, and I put CF HOF 2011. He goes, "You know, you earned that. That stays with you for life." And again, it was a moment where you just said, wow, this is real. This is something that nobody can take away. And we just lost a member of the Hall of Fame in Billy Neighbors, and played at the University of Alabama underneath Coach Bryant. And you sit there and you read the obituary and you read what he accomplished, and at the end he also said, "and was a member of the College Football Hall of Fame." So it does stay from you from the time you are fortunate enough to get inducted to the time you leave this world.
I mean, with your induction into the Collegiate Football Hall of Fame and with your track record, I mean, do you feel that you've set a precedent for others to look up to and to follow?
Well, I don't think it's me. I think it's the standard of the National Football Foundation. I think when you look around the room and you see what people have accomplished, it is not just what they accomplished on the football field, it's also what they're giving back to their community. It's the lifestyle that they live. I think there's a great tradition, and everybody that goes into the College Football Hall of Fame, they have to understand that there is a responsibility and there is an obligation to give back, and there is a way of living your life to that standard. So it is a small fraternity, and I'm very blessed to be a part of it.
Just trying to get more light here.
Okay.
Now, a little bit before, obviously, you know, talking a little bit about the Jets and Greg McElroy. Now, a lot of people have speculated that the Jets desperately have needed that pass rusher up front, somebody that can go after the quarterback to keep him in the pocket. With the way the Jets line has performed over the past couple of years, how would you say where do they need to develop in comparison from where the sack exchange was?
Well, I think you need to develop the ability to get to the quarterback without blitzing the quarterback. Anytime you blitz the quarterback, it puts more pressure on your secondary. And if you don't get to the quarterback, then there's a shortage of defensive backs. So I think if you can get one or two players that can put pressure on the quarterback without blitzing, it's a big bonus for the defense. I was fortunate. I played with Mark Gastineau and Joe Klecko. You can't double team them both. So it gave Abdul Salam and myself a chance to match up in the middle. And we had a great secondary. We had great linebackers. So you have to play as a unit. If the back 7 gives the front 4 time to get to the quarterback, seems like it always works.
So was the re-signing of Aaron Maben important in that regard?
Well, I think Aaron Maben came in from Buffalo. A lot of people were saying that, you know, he was a bust. You had to build his confidence. I think last year he had 5.5 or 6.5 sacks. So I think it built his confidence. I think that he realized that, number one, you can play in this league. I think number two, he's going to realize that you have to put a little bit more ass in those pants. You can't play that position, you know, at 255. Maybe you need to get to 270. Add some weight, add some muscle. But he's got a heart. He's got determination. And that's what you want to see out of a young athlete. the ability to turn the corner, and if you can't turn the corner, the second effort, chase the quarterback down.
And is that something that you've seen has been missing from that front line of the Jets?
Well,
is
I
that
don't
speed
know.
element?
I don't know if it's missing, but I'd like to see him get up there in the high 40s in quarterback sacks. I think you're always productive when you get there. If you get into the 50s, you're having a great year. We were fortunate we got up to 66, I believe. So I think that Rex Ryan and his defensive game plan and schemes are going to work out a lot better. I think Rex has learned a lot about himself in the 3 years of being the head coach, and he's going to approach this year a little bit different. But Rex is the type of guy you want to play for. I think the offense is going to be totally different. The defense is totally different. And right now, when you start a new season, everybody's 0-0. So all the sports writers, everybody can predict who's going to win and who's going to finish first, but nobody's played a game. So what you do is you go into training camp and you go, why not us? But you have to win.
Exactly. See, and you brought up a good point on paper. Now, with all the speculation, and I'm sure you've been asked 1,000 times over between Tebow and Sanchez, with everything that's on paper, how are they stacking up going into preseason, and also how are they stacking up going into the season?
Well, I think number one, Mark is the starting quarterback. Look at his track record. He took this team in his rookie year and his second year at the AFC Championship game. Last year, the Jets fell short. They were 8-5. They lost their last 3 games. You can't point the finger just at Mark Sanchez for those 3 losses. The team basically did not perform in the last 3 weeks. That's the team, game plans, whoever it was involved, media people, put us all together and say, hey, you know what, we failed. But you have to learn. Anytime you learn when you fall short of your goals, it makes you a better person. I think bringing in Tim Tebow, you're bringing in a guy that can help you win at many different positions. You got a guy that can run the wildcat. You got a guy that can run the short yardage. You got a guy that can be a fullback. He can be an H-back. He can be a tight end. He can be on special teams. He just has God-given tools to make him a special athlete. And I think that there's a bigger stage for Tim Tebow. He's got a bigger purpose in life than being a quarterback in the NFL. He knows it. We know it. He's got a great following. He can change the way people think. He can change the way people act. God gave him the ability to play football, but he's truly a good person. So it's going to be interesting. But right now, Mark Sanchez is the starting quarterback, and that's the way it should be.
With the way when you played college football, it was a different game at that time. With the way things have gone over the years, people are getting stronger, faster. It's kind of like the $6 million man. Everybody out there is kind of a little bit more developed. How much of a hard-hitting game is it now than when you played?
Well, I think the athletes are faster, they're stronger, they're more committed to the game probably than some of the players were back in the 70s and in the 80s. They're making a lot more money than we did. So in the off season, they can, the football for them is a 12-month job. For us, we had to go back out and try to hustle just to make a few extra dollars. I don't think the game's ever going to change. I think it's going to always be fast. It's always going to be the strong may survive. I look back and how many times I got hit. Would I have taken the risk over? I had 8 operations. I would have gone for 9 and 10. I loved the game. I knew the risks that were involved, but I was still chasing a dream from being a little kid to one day playing in the Super Bowl. And I don't regret anything I ever did. I don't blame the game for any injuries that I obtained. I don't blame them for anything. They gave me an opportunity to make something out of my life through the game of football, and I'm thankful.
If there's any advice you can give any collegiate players looking to do what you did, make their life in the NFL, what would you like to tell them?
Well, the first thing I tell them is get an education, because one day the game's going to end. Either you decide you're going to retire, or somebody's going to tell you you're not good enough anymore. At that point, life's still going to continue. If you get an education and you have enough confidence in yourself, anything is possible. Never be afraid of taking a chance. Never be afraid of an opportunity, and never doubt yourself.